Skinny Holloway Southern T. Back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, greatly appreciate you sliding through. I ain't gonna waste too much of y'all time this morning. Want to get in and have us a boxing conversation. I'm a little bit on the move. What's good, Cassandra? Shout out my girl, Cassandra. Appreciate you sliding through this thing, Cassandra. Glad you can make it. You good, Cassandra? Hit that thumbs up for your boy when you roll on. They about to have us a boxing conversation. There was a whole lot of fights yesterday. Y'all can see in the title. I headlined it AJ, Gary Russell, Trayvon Marshall, and Emmanuel Navarrete. Those are the bases that I want to talk about, right? But it was a whole lot of fights. You know what I mean? A whole lot of fights that happened yesterday. A whole lot of good fights. You know what I mean? We had a couple upsets. I feel like, it was a robbery, right? Up in there. A little slight robbery. A couple upsets. But for the most part, all of the fights yesterday, they did deliver. You know what I mean? They delivered. I got Emmanuel Navarrete and Oscar Valdez prediction wrong. I got the Anthony Joshua knockout prediction right. I got the Trayvon Marshall prediction wrong, right? Delgado, I got that prediction right. I got Fisher prediction right. It was a pretty good day for me, but like again, I said some big upsets. My girl Cassandra said I missed the AJ fight. Cassandra, you missed the entertaining fight. You know what I mean? Both those guys was jabbing. It was a jab battle, like I said, right? It was a jab battle. You know what I mean? And AJ eventually, he won the boxing matchup. That's what it was. It really was a boxing matchup. It was a boxing matchup, a skills competition, basically what it was. And AJ won the skills competition. But you missed a pretty good one, Cassandra. I ain't gonna hold you. You missed a pretty good one. What's good, Teach? Appreciate you sliding through this thing. Teach, glad you could make it. If y'all could hit that thumbs up for your boy. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, whether you just passing through, make it do what it do. I see I got 4 y'all in here now. I don't know how many likes I got because I'm on the road. We moving, so I really don't know. But y'all help do your boy a favor. Let YouTube know they would like share this thing for me. I don't know if they sent this junk. If this junk still green or they sent the yellow because I ain't at the crib. But we gonna make it do what it do anyway. Shout out my guy Teach. My guy Teach said Navarrete Valdez was a good ass fight. Yeah, it was. It was a bunch of good fights last night. We gonna get into it. I'm gonna let a couple more of y'all pile in. But after a while, when we get to about 5 minutes, 6 minutes, I'm just gonna get to going anyway. You know what I mean? But Navarrete and Valdez, that was a great fight as well. I got that thing in the headliner. Cassandra said so. AJ looked pretty good. Yeah, he did. He looked. Some people, right? Some people. And I would agree, right? He looked real patient. He looked real calculated to me. Some people feel like he may be thinking just a little too much, and I would agree. I do believe he's thinking just a little too much, but I do like the fact that he is thinking now. Because at first AJ wasn't much of a thinker. He was kind of like a brute brawler guy with just power. So I like the new AJ, right? I like calculated AJ. AJ used a lot of head movement. You know what I mean? You can see that he's been focusing on his head movement a lot. You know what I mean? AJ did look good. I was fairly impressed with AJ. AJ is now displacing more skill. You know what I mean? He's using the ring, right? He's standing behind his jab. Like I said, he's moving his head more, getting his head out the line a lot more. You could tell that him. You could see the difference in AJ and working with Derrick James. You can see the difference in from even just from the last Alexander Usyk fight, in which he improved from the first Alexander Usyk fight. You know what I mean? But you can see the difference in him still from the last Usyk fight to this fight. The thing that I always said about AJ is one of those guys that learns from his mistakes, right? We want to call AJ mentally weak and whatever, but he does learn from his mistakes fight to fight. He did better against Andy Reid the second time than he did the first time. He did better against Usyk than he did the last time, and he did better this fight than he did the last fight out. You know what I mean? AJ is a guy who, who gets better with each fight. You know what I mean? Zay, what's good, Zay? Shout out my guy Tay D. Tay D, what's good, King? Yo, I got 6 people in the building right now. Y'all, I ain't shared this joint nowhere. Cause I'm on the road. But can y'all do your boy a favor? I got 6 of y'all. Can I get all 6 of y'all to hit that thumbs up for your boy, man? Whether you're here for a good time, we talking this good boxing. You know what I mean? This morning, I wasn't gonna go on, but you know, I said I'm gonna go and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So we gonna make it do what it do, man. But I appreciate y'all sliding through. Tay D said he ended up setting up that KO. Facts. But if he had just touched Robert Moore, I think it could have happened sooner. Shout out my guy Tay D. He most definitely set Robert Helenius up for that KO. I think Tay D saying he wanted him to be a little more active and throw a little more. That's so Tay D probably is on that side, and I don't necessarily agree with y'all, right? But Tay D probably a little more on this side of I'm more on that side where right. I like how patient he was, right? Tay D probably a little more on this side where he felt like he could have been a little more active. There was times where AJ will overthink and that will let Robert Helenius, you know what I mean, fire off his offense, let him get off his offense, give him some time to breathe a little bit. So if AJ could cut that thinking time down just a little bit, I think that'll be better suited for him. But I do like, patient AJ, more cerebral AJ. I did see a more patient and more cerebral AJ. Shout out my guy Naze. My guy Naze said I still got AJ over Wilder. AJ, my boy. Oh my God, Naze. Shout out my guy Naze. My guy Naze said he got Wilder. I mean, my guy Naze said he got AJ. Well, damn. Shout out my guy Naze. Naze said AJ is back. Cassandra said, so based off what you saw yesterday, do you think he can hang with Deontay? Do I think he can hang with Deontay? I think, okay, let me say this, Cassandra, right? Do I think he can hang with Deontay? Yes, I do. Like short answer, quick answer, right? Like straight to the point. Do I think he can hang with AJ? Yes, right. But I do think the style matchup with Wilder, like watching Robert Helenius versus AJ, watching Wilder versus AJ, right? The style matchup with Deontay Wilder is gonna be a tough one. You know what I mean for AJ, right? Because with Deontay Wilder, right, AJ is most definitely going to have to pick up his radar. Not as much as he used to be, right? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Not as much as he used to be, right? But he is still, susceptible, to those jabs. I think it's gonna be an uphill battle. It's gonna be an uphill battle for AJ to beat Deontay Wilder. But do I think he can hang with him? Absolutely, absolutely. I do think he can hang with him. I do think he can hang with him. She said, "That's just what I think." We go see. Shout out my guy Naze. He said, "If AJ lasts 5 rounds, I'd be impressed." I was saying last night, jokingly, right? 503. What's good? 503. I was saying jokingly last night, right? I was like, man, why? I said, man, why to go knock AJ out in 3? And then by the time the fight ended, I said, why to go knock AJ out in 4? You know what I mean? So it's funny that you say, Teddy, he not going past 5. I think he can get past 5 rounds with Wilder if he just a little more active and he move his head just to. Actually, he can keep the same head movement. I think he got hit sometimes, not even because he wasn't moving his head. I think he got hit sometimes because he wasn't firing punches back, right? So if he could be just a little more active with Deontay Wilder, I think he got a shot. You know what I mean? I think he got a shot. But again, the style matchup with Deontay, it's gonna be a crazy matchup, crazy style matchup for AJ to overcome. Tay D said, "I appreciate the patience, but there should be a balance to everything. As you said, there should be a balance to everything. And as you said, I think he overthought a tad bit too much. Yeah, that's why. Yep, he was. I in the spaces where he was getting hit, it wasn't because Helenius was a better boxer than him. In the spaces, damn, I missed my turn. In the spaces where he was getting Can y'all hear me? Hold on for a sec. Hold on for a second. Yeah, y'all, it's none of y'all in here. Hold on for a second. Teddy said, why this too explosive, too fast, too long? Shout out my guy, Jay Gill. What's good, Jay Gill? Hold on. Y'all give me a second phone call. Y'all talk amongst each other just for a second. All right, y'all, I'm back, y'all. All right, where we at? Appreciate y'all, too. Appreciate y'all not dipping that on your boy. Appreciate y'all not dipping that. Where we at, Teddy? Where was I at? Where was I at? Bet my guy Jay Gibbs said 1 round versus 7 rounds. You talking about Wilder and Helenius? 1 round versus 7 rounds. Yep. He said AJ just can't be hesitant with Wilder facts. He can't be overthinking. All that idle time in between with Deontay Wilder, that's creating space for Deontay Wilder. You don't want to take too much time with a heavy puncher because they get that heavy puncher, you know what I mean, space to lane and space to think, right? Type in, and you don't want to end up being on the end of, a heavy puncher who get in rhythm on you, you know what I mean? You allow him enough time to get his shit off, it's going to be trouble for you, right? The best way to beat, a puncher like that, right? You either got to be active and you got to be accurate. You got to be active and you got to be accurate to beat those heavy punches. You either got to overwhelm them with punches of your own, or you got to be real accurate and sharp to where you can catch them in between their punches and make them put their hands in their pocket. My guy Teak said AJ needed more head movement because he was still getting sniped with the jab, mostly due to Helenius' reach. Yeah, facts, Teak. I think he had pretty good head movement last night, right? I think he had pretty good head movement for the most part. I think he was getting caught with the jab, because of Helenius' reach, right? And Wilder got extremely long arms too. I think he was getting caught with the jab because of Helenius' reach. But I also think I also think a lot of that yeah. I also think a lot of that came from him just taking too much idle time, like him thinking too much, like his head was on the line, right, Teach? Is because he was thinking about what he was going to do offensively. I think instead of just doing it offensively, you know what I mean? He took a lot of time to think about his shots. Right? He like AJ was okay. I'm gonna throw my jab. I'm gonna throw my right. I'm gonna finish with the body. Okay, I get it. Then he'll throw his jab. He'll throw his right. He finish with the body. Instead of just seeing it, jab, right body. You know what I mean? Jab, right body. He was it's like he was thinking about the moves, then making the move. He was thinking about the right moves, though. I like that. He was thinking about the right moves. But I think that idle time in between him actually making the moves is what got him caught with those jabs, Teach. You know what I mean? So I think I just think he just gotta speed himself up just a tick more. You know what I mean? If he speed himself up just a tick more, that'll do him some good with Deontay Wilder, I think, Teach. I do think he had pretty good head movement, right? I think though the shots that you talking about, right? I think they came more so when he was trying to think rather than move his head. You know what I mean? Now, as they say, I'm talking about the overthinking. He said even with better head movement, Wilder is a different athlete. Helenius' jab got there easily. I think it's going to end very bad for AJ. I hope it's the fight that we've been waiting for, though. I just want to see it, bro. I really don't. I don't care, bro, because I kind of always thought maybe, right? I kind of always thought maybe maybe Wilder put him out viciously, right? So if Wilder put him out viciously, viciously, that's not gonna necessarily be something that I wasn't thinking, right? But I believe it's a style matchup, y'all. Like I like AJ, dog. I like AJ, man, but I just this style for Deontay Wilder, this style with Deontay Wilder, man. I can see it. Like Teddy kind of just said it that, and Teach, right? Teach and Teddy, like the jab was there. You can see that their right straight was there. You know what I mean? If AJ could cut out that overthinking part, then maybe they get his head off the line more. Maybe that he stunned Wilder, hurt Wilder. But the matchup, man, it's gonna be that matchup gonna be an uphill battle for AJ, for sure, for sure. Nazay said he gotta stop this shit. Nazay said he gotta stop this shit. What shit he gotta stop nowadays? Nazay. JD said exactly. Helenius just seen wasn't much coming back, and he started gaining confidence. Yep. He started punching on him. Cassandra said we lost you. Am I back now, Cassandra? Am I back now, Cassandra? My guy Jay Gibson, what's good, Jay Gibb? Teach said if there was Zane or Wilder, AJ would be on the canvas. Yep, probably. Yep, probably so. Probably so. We gotta see. We gotta see. We gotta see AJ. We gotta see. I want to see AJ be a little more active now, right? I like thinking AJ. I like that he thinking, but he got to find his balance between overthinking and throwing more punches, right? Sometimes in spaces where AJ thinking, he should probably just be throwing his jab, right, to throw off the other guy, because in those spaces where he thinking, let's go give those power punches like Zane and Wilder, right? Let's go get those guys time to get their shit off, right? And you don't want to get those guys time to get their shit off. You know what I mean? Shout out my guy Jay Gibb. I see he's in Navarrete versus Valdez, fight of the year contender. That was a great fight. I ain't even gonna hold you, man. That fight delivered. That fight was everything that I thought it was. Shout out to Navarrete and Oscar Valdez. I'm trying to y'all in the building now, so I guess I can get to it. I'm headed to the house now. I'm about to I'm gonna wait till I get to the house to roll up now. I'm headed to the house. We go roll up. We go finish this thing out the right way. I'm gonna actually get it shirt because I ain't shirted yet. So if y'all came through here because y'all just out the strength that y'all mess with your boy, and I greatly appreciate it. But yep, Navarrete Valdez, man, that was a great fight. That junk delivered everything I think it was. Cassandra said so. Now everybody just knocking Helenius. He getting paid though. The thing about Robert, Cassandra, shout out my girl Cassandra. Yo, I got 12 people in the building. I can't see how many likes I got, right? Because I'm on the road right now. But can y'all do your boy solid, man? Hit that thumbs up for your boy. If it's your first time, don't make it your last time. Let YouTube know that we live. Let YouTube know that we talking this good boxing. I wasn't gonna go on this morning because I got stuff to do this morning, but I said, you know what? I'm gonna go on a little early, and I'm gonna go on while I'm on the move. You know what I mean? So I can make sure that I get my convo in with my people, so we could get through this thing the right way, the gang way. You know what I mean? But Cassandra, I think with Robert Helenius, right? The thing with him is Robert Helenius has never took a loss, right, where he didn't get knocked out. If I'm not mistaken, Robert has 4 losses and he's been knocked out 4 times. Every time Robert Helenius loses, it's a vicious knockout. That's because Robert Helenius can box, but his chin is just kind of weak. You know what I mean? His power not there. He's in the heavyweight division, and his chin is a little suspect, and that's recipe for disaster. Like Eddie Hearn was trying to say, right? Helenius is an awkward fighter. He can box. He does have a long reach. He could make the fight awkward for you. He most definitely could make that fight awkward for you, and he made that fight awkward for AJ. He made that fight awkward for AJ, for a few rounds. You know what I mean? He made it awkward for AJ until he didn't make it awkward for AJ, right? You know what I mean? But his chin just not there, Cassandra. It's not necessarily that he's a bad fighter. It's just that his chin can't hold up in the heavyweight division. You know what I mean? His chin not there. My guy Tay D said Helenius needs to retire. If he got paid well, I ain't trying to see that no more. Teach said, yeah, the reason why I said Zhang is because of the way Zhang was sniping Joe Joyce with his jab. Yeah, facts. Joe Joyce and Zhang about to do that thing again, too. You know what I mean? Joe Joyce and Zhang about to do that thing again. He said they putting Robert ass to bed, rock about baby, for real, dog. They really is. Right? Cassandra, 2 back-to-back vicious KOs, and every time he lose, it look like that. It's a highlight reel KO. Go look at Gerald Washington versus Robert Helenius. Look at Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius. Look at Anthony Joshua versus Robert Helenius. And I think Robert Helenius may have beat Derek Chisora. Somebody else, was it Dylan White? He got 4 losses and he got 4 knockouts, bro. Wilder, AJ, and Gerald Washington. And we're gonna talk about Gerald Washington too. Shashora and Gerald Washington. We're gonna talk about that eventually too at some point. Y'all don't let me forget about Shashora and Gerald Washington. Because it was a lot of fights tonight. A lot of interesting things happened last night. You know what I mean? We're gonna try to compact this thing into about an hour, but a bunch of good shit happened last night. My guy Tay D said if he doesn't have to think he should. Okay. D Man, what's good? Shout out to my guy D Man Jr. Appreciate you sliding through. He said, "You back, bro?" Yeah, I'm back this morning. I'm back this morning for the Wake and Bake weekend reactions boxing talk. You know what I mean? 'Cause I got a little something to do at noon, right? And then I'm gonna be gone from noon to a little later this evening. So I said we gotta come in. We gonna go and get this thing right, bright and early. So I said we gonna go and come in. We go get this thing right, bright and early. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. Whether you just passing through, you're here for a good time or a long time. Shout out my guy D-Man Jr. What's good, D-Man? We're in there having this great box. So I appreciate seeing everybody in the building, too. And from now on, y'all, I'm reading every comment. I'm going to read every comment. No matter how long it takes, I'm going down. I'm reading every comment because I used to do that, and they actually help extend the shows. You know what I mean? So that's exactly what I'm doing from now. I'm going down. I'm reading every single comment. Appreciate y'all guys sliding through. Teddy said, he said, we don't know what Wilder about to show either. If he's famed throwing at AJ body. Oh yeah, facts. Just on first look, it's gonna be a tough matchup for AJ in that Deontay Wilder thing. But yes, I'm excited. Y'all ain't gonna lie. I think one of those right hands, because let me play devil's advocate for a second. I didn't even play devil's advocate for a second. Now, when Wilder stunned AJ, when Wilder hit AJ with that right hand, AJ pretty much gone, right? We know that, right? But let's just say, y'all, it's a chance in there. But Wilder is always dangerous. Hurt, Wilder dangerous hurt, Wilder dangerous not hurt, Wilder dangerous after you done knocked him down, right? Because we just seen Wilder put people down fresh. We just seen him put people down late. We just seen him put people down after he got knocked down, right? But, y'all, there is a chance where AJ can catch Deontay Wilder, too. You know what I mean? And we've seen Wilder, right, have gas tank issues if the fight goes into the later round. We've also seen AJ have gas tank issues with the fight going to a later round. So there is a chance where, you know, AJ catches Wilder. But the thing with that, and I keep saying this for a reason, I keep talking about the matchups. The thing with that is AJ at this point in his career is a patient knockout puncher. And Wilder is an instant, spontaneous knockout puncher. Right? So where AJ gonna have to conserve his energy to maybe get to his knockout, Wilder comes out and he carries his power from round 1 to 3. He don't have the gas tank issues that AJ has had in the past, right? But the style matchup, it is a chance in there where AJ, if AJ is able to get to Wilder before Wilder can get to AJ, we've seen, you know, fights change like that. But Deontay Wilder is always dangerous from round 1 to 12. You know what I mean? True Allah was good, True. Appreciate you sliding through. And after we do this boxing thing, we go get straight into the bets. You know what I mean? Because I got to make my bets before I handle my business. You know what I mean? Shout out to my guy, True Allah was good, too. Bunch of great fights last night. I ain't even really started to get into it yet. But we about to get into it. I'm really just greeting everybody. I was trying to let everybody get in the building. Y'all here now. I'm about to pull up to the crib in just a second, too. So we finna really, you know, get into it the way we get into it. He said the only fight I saw yesterday was money going in my wallet. Dog. He said, when I think about Helenius getting KO just last night, just had a feeling that Jerry Anderson's going to get KO like that. Baby does the same lean back move. Robert Helenius, yeah, he does. Charles Martin exposed that to us, didn't he? Charles Martin fight. And Charles Martin been hinting that he got a big fight coming up. By the way, Charles Martin been hinting that he got a big fight coming up. You think Big Baby gonna get stopped? I think Cheeks with Big Baby, we gotta wait and see, right? Because I think the last fight, Charles Martin, you know, the Olympian bronze medalist winner, Charles Martin. I think Charles Martin showed Big Baby what he needed to work on, right? I think Big Baby does have that trait where he likes to step straight back, teach. But I think that fight with Charles Martin showed Big Baby that he can't do that. You know what I mean? I think Big Baby is going to learn in his next fight, right? Not to go straight back. I think Big Baby go use lateral movement. I also think Big Baby came out in that fight just trying to run straight through Charles. Oh yeah, I'm gonna break Charles. He gonna fall. I think we'll see a more, methodical Big Baby his next fight. I think Big Baby, but still, right? It's still wait to be seen because it ain't happened yet. But I think we gotta wait and see, right? If Big Baby go continue that habit after Charles Martin showed him his flaw, right? But yeah, if Big Baby don't change that teach, I could see that happening to him too. You know what I mean? Skills. Shout out my guy Skills. Appreciate you sliding through this thing. Glad you can make it, man. He said I came through because I with my guy T. Shout out my guy Skills. And T fuck with you too, Brody. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. I'm pulling up to the house right now. We about to get this roll up on. We about to really have these boxing conversations. I think I done greeted everybody now. I think I done greeted everybody. True, D-Man, my girl Cassandra Teach, DS. What's good, DS? Appreciate you sliding through this thing, DS. If y'all could hit that thumbs up for your boy. We about to get into this. Boxing talk. I'm about to go switch to the laptop. We about to switch this thing to the laptop. We about to roll us up some of these trees, man. We about to do the damn thing, man. Appreciate you, y'all, bro, with your boy. Yeah, Trey, man. Yeah, Trey. Yeah, Jay Gibb. Yeah, Trey, man. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy when you roll along. Then Jizzle, what's good? What's good, Jizzle? Appreciate you sliding through. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy, man. Appreciate you sliding through, making it do what it do. I'm about to take me a seat. We about to get these roll ups going, man. About to do this thing the right way. Getting my seat cushions. Getting my seat cushions. Oh, princess. Badass dog. All right, let's get to it. Oh, princess. All right, let's get to it, man. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. I'm about to switch to the laptop. All right. Shout out my guy DS. He said, I told you, Nav one no joke. Yep. We gonna talk about it. Said, guess who's back again? Ready to track gas with 500 in Africa. He said, but even if it goes 12, Wilder still KO on your ass. Yeah, facts. You talking about me and how Wilder carry his powder. DS said Wilder in 10. Think it's going 10, DS? He said AJ plus money. Nigga, look at the pattern that's been happening. AJ plus money. Niggas look at the pattern. Now, what you mean? AJ was the favorite, Coach Joe. AJ was the favorite. AJ knockout was minus money. Said the end of one see Masquerade and Marshall fight. Outcome shocked me. I just want to know if Masquerade gloves seem on the up and up. Yeah, I did see, man. That was wild. He said Charles could have got Big Baby out of there. Facts. Could have. That Masquerade tried to skin his gloves against Fox. Were they legit with Trey? I'm guessing. Oh yeah, what's good? What's good? I ain't heard nothing about bro gloves or no shit like that. So I ain't gonna get to doing it every time somebody I fuck with lose. You know what I mean? Because they water it down. They water it down when this shit actually happen. You know what I mean? He said, man, I thought Trey was gonna be one of them ones for us. Yeah, man, Trey got sit back last night. I don't know if y'all saw it. I don't know if y'all saw that. I don't know if y'all saw it, but yeah, Trayvon got stopped, man. Trayvon got stopped by Gabriel Masquerade. Y'all remember Gabriel Masquerade? Gabriel Masquerade was the guy that fought Michael Fox, right? And we saw Michael Fox dominate him, right? He just stopped young Trayvon Marshall. He just stopped young. He just stopped young Trayvon Marshall. You know what I mean? Trayvon Marshall took his first L last night. Gabriel Masquerade. He came in there and he did his thing. So shout out Gabriel Masquerade. There was a couple upsets that happened yesterday, right? Navarrete was the upset. Navarrete was an upset last night. Underdog. Slight underdog. Navarrete was a slight underdog, right? Navarrete was the underdog last night. Masquerade was a huge underdog last night. And Gerald Washington versus Derek Chisora. Did y'all watch that, Judge? I think Gerald Washington beat Derek Chisora. But, of course, the zone and those A-side deals. Man. Derek Chisora ended up getting that win. But I really don't think that Derek Chisora won that fight. Derek Chisora ended up getting that win last night. But I really don't think that Derek Chisora won that fight last night. You know what I mean? He ended up getting that win. But I don't know, man. I think that was one of those. I think that was one of them. I think it was one of them A-side. I think it was one of them A-side the zone things going on. You know what I mean? Last night. But I digress. But let me go. Let me catch up in this chat. Shout out my guy B Dog. Shout out my guy B Dog. He said I bet on Washington, but then I realized where the fight was. Yeah, facts. Washington won that fight, bro. He won that motherfucker for sure. He won. He won that motherfucker for sure. You know what I mean? Like I know what fight I saw. I know what I saw. I know what I saw, man. I know what I was watching. He won that job for sure. But Trayvon almost didn't. Trayvon almost didn't stand a chance, bro. It's like he got outboxed from pillar to post. Like that dude was a lot stronger than Trayvon. Bro. That dude was a lot stronger than Trayvon last night. Let me get the other cushion. He didn't look that strong against Michael Fox. He ain't looked that strong against he ain't looked that strong against Michael Fox. You know what I mean? I don't know where that masquerade came from. Come on, I'm taking out of there. You know what I mean? Because he ain't looked at Well, let me get my charge. Hold on. Let me get my charge. Y'all hold on for a second. And then we go get into this rundown. All right, I'm back, man. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. So where we gonna start off, man? So where we gonna start off at? I know I want to start off with. I know I want to start off with, man. But let's talk about it. Did y'all see? Did y'all see Derek Chisora? Did y'all see Derek Chisora versus Gerald Washington? Did y'all see Derek Chisora versus Gerald Washington? That's real question, right? I got 14 people in here right now. I need answers, man. Did y'all see Chisora versus Gerald Washington? Because if y'all didn't, then it may be a little hard for y'all to understand what I'm saying. But I'm gonna paint the picture for y'all, right? But the first question I want to ask, right? Did y'all see Gerald Washington versus The first question I want to ask: did y'all see Gerald Washington versus Derek Chisora? By show, by show, by show of hands. By show of hands, man. Did y'all see Chisora versus Gerald Washington? Because I noticed something, right? And I saw this a few times. I've seen this. I've seen this more than a few times, right? I've seen this more than a few times, especially on the zone. Especially on the zone. TD said I only seen the second half. Both were gas, but Derek was doing more work. Said Chisora Washington was hard to score. He said, my guy Teach said Chisora versus Washington was hard to score. They didn't give the judges much to see. My guy TD said I only seen the second half. Both were gas, but Derek was doing more work. Cassandra said she didn't. He said, but we seen pairs and the styles and fighters look terrible last fight, and the big fights look completely okay. You talking to KD, but I noticed something with the zone right now. I don't know if I'm tripping right. And I'm finna give y'all a couple examples. I'm finna give y'all a couple examples, right? And I'm finna share this because I realized I ain't shared this. Cause I ain't shared this, right? I noticed something over there at the zone. It's like sometimes on the zone, and you could do this. You could do this in other places, right? You could do this in other places, right? But it's like with the zone, it's like I almost can call it every time. It's like with the zone, certain fighters, I know if those fighters don't get knocked out, those fighters are never going to lose their fight. Like on Showtime, if you don't come with it, your ass go lose. You go get upset, you go lose that out. Like saw it happen to Trayvon, right? They go put you in the ring with people. You gonna have to come with it. If you don't come with it, you're gonna lose that out. But with the zone, because how it's set up, right, with certain people, sometimes I just know that if it's a close fight, I just know that if it's a close fight, that certain guys go win that fight. Like if it's a fight where it could go either way, then on the zone, 9 times out of 10, the A side gonna win that fight. You know what I mean? 9 times out of 10, the A side go win that fight on the zone. It was a fight where Gerald Washington pretty much dominated the first half of the fight, and Chisora made it a close enough fight in the back end to where the fight where they could have gave him that decision, and that's exactly what that's exactly what they did. You know what I mean? Chisora versus Gerald Washington reminded me of is his name Jeremiah Milton? Y'all know Milton from Detroit, from Michigan, I think. From Michigan, I think he's from Detroit. But y'all know Milton just fought on the last the zone card. You know what I mean? But y'all remember Milton fought not Derek Chisora. Y'all remember Milton fought Dylan White. Dylan White's last fight. Y'all seen Dylan White, Jeremiah Milton. Y'all seen Dylan White's last fight with Jeremiah Milton. Man, Jeremiah Milton pretty much beat the hell out of Dylan White. You know what I mean? He pretty much beat the hell out of him. From the round 1 to round 12, Jeremiah Milton controlled that fight. At the end of that fight, right, they still gave that fight to Dylan White. And I called it before they gave the fight to Dylan White. Before the judge's announcement came out, I said Dylan White didn't get knocked down. Everybody saw him lose. Because it's on the zone, you know what I mean? I said Dylan White go get this win. And sure enough, Dylan White got that win. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go a little lower level, right? On the same card. I don't know if y'all saw Ricky Hatton fight yesterday, right? But I seen Ricky Hatton's son. Campbell Hatton. I seen Campbell Hatton lose at least twice, but I for sure saw him lose one fight, right? But because it was on the zone, I knew for a fact that
Campbell Hatton wasn't going to lose that fight. Now the fight last night was pretty close, right? Maybe this fight to a lesser degree than those fights that I just named. But last night, I felt like I saw Gerald Washington. Win that fight, right? But I knew because it was a close fight who was going to be the victor of that fight. You know what I mean? I saw a close fight where I edged it to Gerald Washington, but I knew because the fight was so close, I knew that David Chisora was going to win that fight because David Chisora is the one who's been with the zone the longest. The zone is where David Chisora's bread is butter. Gerald Washington is a journeyman who fights wherever they send him to. Kind of like this too. Like for an example, a small example, another lower level example, right? I seen like I can't use them. That's a bad example. But most of the robberies, I should say, I won't call last night a robbery, right? But I will call last night a favorable decision. I put my bread on the fight to go the distance, which you did, D man. I put my bread on the fight to go the distance, which you did, right? Because I know, Dave Chisora be gassing out. Gerald Washington be gassing out. Dave Chisora be gassing out. I said, I said, them guys go be stumbling across the finish line, which is exactly what they was doing. They were stumbling across the finish line. But I just noticed all too much how the zone is always the place where these, you know what I mean, these weird calls and these lopsided decision robberies, happening. It's always happening on the zone. It's like if I watch a close fight on the zone and one of the fighters are directly working with the zone, I already know who about to win that fight. And it's the fighter that work closer directly with the zone. Notice this. Upsets, the biggest upsets always happen on the zone, right? Whether it's the A side guy, whether it's the biggest robberies or upsets always happen on the zone. Whether it's the A side guy getting beat up the whole fight and then them giving him the fight at the end of the round, right? Or rather, or rather it's an A side guy, right, who's supposed to win the fight, and then he get his head knocked smooth clean off by somebody on the B side, and then they run the rematch back with the A side. You know what I mean? That's the zone. That's the pattern that I know with the zone. So although I seen Gerald Washington probably fight a fight last night where he should have won. I knew Derek Chisora was going to get that win because he's a DAZN guy, right? DAZN is where his bread is buttered. But I just wanted to see how if anybody else felt the same way I felt about that fight, right? With if anybody else happened to see Derek Chisora versus, you know what I mean, Gerald Washington. That was the fight. That was the fight right before. Move, move. That was the fight. That was the fight right before. There was the fight. There was the fight right before the co-main event. There was the fight right. All right, I'm back now. All right, I'm back. I forgot what the fuck I was talking about. D Free, what's good, D Free? What's good, D Free? Appreciate you sliding through. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. But yeah, I just wanted to see did anybody else catch that. I just want to see did anybody else catch that bull crap. You know what I mean? That happened on the zone last night. I just wanted to see did anybody else happen to see that, man. But yeah, like I said, I just noticed I'm noticing the pattern with these zone fighters, man. I'm just noticing the pattern with these the zone guys, right? But I digress. I digress. Now let's get into it. Now let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Let's get into it, man. Masquerade versus Marshall. Let's get into it. Masquerade versus Marshall, man. Come on. Let's get into it, man. Masquerade versus Marshall. Last night, Trayvon Marshall took on Gabriel Masquerade. Now, if the Gabriel Masquerade name sound familiar, that's because Gabriel Masquerade is mostly famous for losing to Michael Fox, beating Michael Fox, but actually losing to Michael Fox. You know what I mean? Masquerade went into that Michael Fox fight, right, with skin gloves. Michael Fox's corner pinpoint the skin gloves. Masquerade had to bring in a whole new set of gloves, and then the fight started right. And then Gabriel Masquerade proceeded to lose damn near every round versus Michael Fox. And then we saw Showtime Boxing give Masquerade that victory anyway, right, over Michael Fox. So that's how Gabriel Masquerade, got to this point, right? That's how he got, his name basically. He got his name off of robbery. So last night, Trayvon Marshall faced off against Gabriel Masquerade, right? Now I had Trayvon Marshall. Did I say Martin? I had Trayvon Marshall. Now I had Trayvon Marshall to win this fight. I had Trayvon Marshall. I had Trayvon Marshall to win this fight. I had Trayvon Marshall to win this fight. It didn't quite happen that way last night. You know what I mean? Trayvon Marshall, he looked outclassed from the beginning. Gabriel Masquerade he looked a lot more experienced, and he really is, right? When you look at they records, you see Trayvon Marshall was what 8-0 with 7 KOs. You see Gabriel Masquerade 6-0 with 5 KOs or 5-0 with 4 KOs. You think, well, okay, Trayvon Marshall is slightly more experienced. It's a prospect versus prospect fight, right? But then you look at their ages. You see Trayvon Marshall about 24 years old. You see Gabriel Masquerade 37 years old. Well, I knew going into the fight that Masquerade was an Olympian. I knew going into the fight that Masquerade was, the older fighter, right? I knew Masquerade, his record was deceiving, but I also figured that the athleticism, right, of Trayvon Marshall would see him through. But last night, the experience of Gabriel Masquerade is what reigned through on Trayvon Marshall. Trayvon Marshall pretty much he got outclassed, not because Masquerade is, that Masquerade. I don't believe Masquerade is an early round stoppage knockout better than Trayvon, right? But I do think the experience of Masquerade knowing what to do, right? Masquerade having over 300 amateur fights, right? Masquerade, going through that with Michael Fox. I think him knowing what to do in that situation is what got him past Trayvon Marshall. Trayvon Marshall looked, for lack of a better term, right? He looked like a deer in the headlights. You know what I mean? But at this point, I believe since we all know, I believe it. I believe at this point, I believe at this point, since we all know, I believe at this point, right? Since we all know that Michael Fox really beat Gabriel Masquerade, right? And Michael Fox ain't had a fight since Gabriel Masquerade, right? And Gabriel Masquerade just came out there and he took Trayvon Marshall. All right. Now he really beat Trayvon Marshall, but still to this day, that man never beat Michael Fox. I think it's time for us to do the right thing like Spike Lee. I think it's time for us. I think it's time for us to do the right thing like Spike Lee. I think it's time for us to give. I think it's time for us to give Michael Fox his rematch with Masquerade. You know what I mean? Showtime. Showtime called Michael Fox. He went in there. He beat this dude. Right? Y'all trying to push this dude. It's only right that Michael Fox get his rematch. Because you clearly see right now that it necessarily wasn't a fluke. What Michael Fox did wasn't a fluke because now we see that Masquerade actually can fight a little bit, right? Masquerade went and got him a legit win over Trayvon Marshall. He stopped the prospect and Trayvon Marshall. He can fight a little bit, right? So I think right now, it's time for the PBC and Showtime to do the right thing like Spike Lee and set up Michael Fox versus Jabbar Masquerade. Trayvon Marshall, he's a young dude. He took his first loss. Again, it's a lot of great boxers with multiple losses. A lot of great boxers with multiple losses. Trayvon go bounce back, learn from the mistakes, right? But Michael Fox versus Jabbar Masquerade, man, I want to see that. I seen somebody say they setting up Jabbar versus Stanonis. Man, I mean, I could see that. I could see that. I could see that. But I think that's bullshit, especially when how can Gabriel Masquerade get a title shot when all of us saw him lose to Michael Fox? And Michael Fox still has yet to have a title shot. They let you know how full of politics that boxing really is, right? But Trayvon Marshall got stopped last night. Trayvon, keep your head up. Keep your head up, man. It ain't over with. I hope they don't, throw him off his hope they don't throw him off his way too much. And I think that was in Trayvon's hometown too. You know what I mean? So hopefully the mental aspect don't get to Trayvon. I hope the mental aspect don't get to Trayvon, you know what I mean, a little too much. But Gabriel Masquerade, he did look pretty good last night. So I gotta tip my hat to Gabriel Masquerade. You look good last night. Now I want to see you fight Michael Fox again because in my mind, you really lost to Michael Fox. So I want to see that. I want to see that fight happen. I want to see Michael Fox get his just due. You know what I mean? So you coming off your biggest win, I think the right thing is to put him in there with Michael Fox, right? Before you try to stick him in there with Stanonis. Put him in there with Michael Fox. And if Michael Fox beat him again, give Michael Fox that title shot, you know what I mean, that he deserved, clearly. If y'all gonna give it to Masquerade, Michael Fox damn sure deserved a title fight. You know what I mean? But y'all, did y'all see Gary Antoine versus Kent Cruz? We was having a discussion. We was having a discussion on here, and this discussion lasted about 10, 20 minutes too. We was having a discussion on here about Gary Antoine, how he gonna look when he come back. Is he gonna look like himself? He coming off the layoff, right? I mean, he coming off the injury layoff. He didn't look this way against Rancis. You know what I mean? Rancis made him look a certain way. Is he gonna get the knockout? Is he go, you know what I mean? Be the same when he get back, right? We was having this conversation about it, Gary. I think I called Gary Antoine Russell 7th round knockout. I think beforehand I called that fight 7-round knockout. I called that fight 7-round knockout beforehand, right? I'm like, yeah, man, Gary gonna beat you more. I'm like, Ken Cruz could box. No, Ken Cruz could box. I'm like, his chin be a little, he hold his head a little high, right? But he can box. I saw his last couple fights. So I think he gonna be able to extend his fight a little bit. I think Gary go get him. And I think Gary go get him like in the 7th or 8th round. I think it'd be like a 6 or 7 round knockout for Gary, right? Gary went out there and he knocked out Kent Cruz in the first round, dog. He knocked that man out in the first round, dog. In the first round, a lot of us had questions about Gary Russell last night, man. A lot of us, a lot of us had questions about Gary Russell last night, man. You know what I mean? We always like, man, how Gary gonna look coming off the injury? Is the injury is the injury more serious than we think? Right? I myself, man, Gary gonna have to take a little while. Gary gonna have to take a couple rounds. Gary gonna have to take a couple rounds, you know what I mean, to get going. Man, Gary looked damn good. Right? Gary looked like the Gary Russell we thought he was before the injury. You know what I mean? He looked like he looked like the Gary that we thought he was before the injury, right? People questioned him after the Rancis fight, which I'm not sure why, right? Rancis tested him. He ended up knocking Rancis out. People questioned more so the stoppage of Rancis, not the actual fight of in itself. I think this stoppage may have been coming with Rancis anyway. I just wanted to see the finished product, right? But I think people looked at that stoppage of his fight with Rancis, and they kind of used that to say, well, Gary ain't that guy no more because he struggled with Rancis. Well, Rancis is a lot more experienced than Gary. Rancis has contended for multiple titles. Rancis has put champions right on their ass. Now the champion came back to beat Rancis, but he has put champions on their ass. Some people feel like Rancis beat, you know, Robert Easter when he fought him, right? But I digress. So for you to struggle with Rancis and stop Rancis, who's never been stopped before, that's instead people looked at that as a knock. When really I looked at that as learning experiences for Gary. So Gary fought a guy like Rancis, a step-up fight, a rough, rugged veteran, title contender, right? He fights Rancis and he stops Rancis and people jump off the boat. You know what I mean? Forgetting that Rancis is a damn good fighter. Check Rancis' record. You know what I mean? Rancis is also in the Olympian as well. Rancis Bartholomew is in the Olympian as well, right? But this how you know that Gary Antoine is who we say he is. Because he fought Kent Cruz, right? Who is a bit of a what, like a step down, maybe. Cruz is a step down from Rancis Bartholomew. Now Cruz is undefeated and Rancis has multiple losses, right? But if you really look at the fighters, you really looking at, what's going on, you know that Rancis is a step above Cruz. So he took a step down in Cruz, right? But I'm still thinking it's a step down, but Cruz is still a formidable opponent. Still one of the better guys at that level, right, that you could fight, right? So, yeah, a step down from Rancis, which is understandable, coming off of injury, right? A step down from Rancis, but still a pretty good test. And I'm like, okay, well, Gary Antoine gonna knock him out in the 7th round. You got to shake some of that rust off. He coming off an injury, 7th round knockout. This how you know Gary Antoine. This how you know Gary Antoine is improving because he went out there and he did exactly what he was supposed to do. He turned Cruz into a tune-up, though. Kent Cruz is not a tune-up. He turned Cruz into a tune-up fight. But that's how you know that Gary Antoine is that next level of fighter. He's a tier above Cruz, right? And Bartholomew, who's a tier above Cruz, Gary Antoine is a tier above Rancis Bartholomew. It's gonna be that tier above Rancis. It's that tier above Rancis that I think Gary Antoine Russell ready for. I think at this point, you go get guys hurt with Gary Antoine, right? Putting Gary Antoine in there with guys who not on his level, putting Gary Antoine in there with guys who not on that top level, you go get them hurt because you put him in there with Rancis, who's a top level fighter, right? And he knocked out Rancis. Then you come in there, you put him with Cruz, a guy to get him right off injury, and he damn near kill him. You know what I mean? So you can't put him in there with guys like Cruz's. You got to put him in there with guys on Rancis level or above. I think it's time, and that I think it's time, for lack of a better term, right? But I think it's time to take the training wheels off Gary. And Gary really never had training wheels, right? But I do think Gary is ready for those Matias's. I do think Gary is ready for those Teofimo Lopez's. I do think Gary is ready for those Dare I say, Richardson Hicks's type of fights. I do think Brandon Lee. I think Gary decapitates Brandon Lee. Shout out my guy Teach. I think he does him dirty. I think he does Brandon Lee dirty. I think he does Brandon Lee dirty. You know what I mean? I think at this point, man, Gary on that championship route. He's on that championship talent. He's on that path where you got to put him in there. It's time, man. It's time. It's time. Like he ready for those top guys. But what he did to Rancis and what he just did to Cruz last night, he ready. He ready for those top level guys. Gary Antoine is back. Gary Antoine may be back, and he may be even better than he was before he left. You know what I mean? Gary Antoine may be back, and Gary Antoine is even better, maybe even better than he was when he left. But I think at this point with Gary, it's time to put Gary in there with them title contenders. I want to see Gary fight for a title. I want to see Gary fight the Matisses. I want to see Gary fight the Regises, right? Devin Haney about to fight Regis, maybe the winner of that fight, right? But it's most definitely time to get Gary Antoine. It's most definitely time to get Gary Antoine. You know what I mean? In there with those top guys. He said he weighed in at 138 and said he rehydrated to 144. He said T.I. said earlier, Gary probably one of those guys who fights close to his walk around weight. Yeah. 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 I can see that. Yeah, Gary Antoine. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I think he better than before. Like Big Bro is really getting them right. But then Matiz fight down 50-50. Yeah, Matiz will be the top of the line. That would be like the biggest fish, right? That would be like him, Regis, T.O. Those would be like the biggest of the biggest. But I do think he's their level fighter, right? He either gonna crash at their level or he gonna succeed, right? But I think now is the time where you put him in those level fights because putting him in there with guys who are good fighters, right? Good fighters, above average to good fighters like Cruz, you go get them killed, right? And then you put him in there with a guy who was a good fighter and Rancis, right? And he stopped Rancis too. He ready for that next. He ready for that next tier. He ready for that next tier guys, the Hitchisons, the T.O.s, the Taylors, the Matisses, the Regises, the Zapatas. I think Gary is that level of fighter at this point in his career. I think Gary has reached their level of fighter. You know what I mean? But like guys like this, like Cruz, like Bartholomew and up, Rancis and up, right? Rancis and up, because Rancis gave him a hell of a fight, and he ended up getting the stoppage. Now, whether you feel like it was early or not, I feel like yeah, it was a little early, but I feel like the stoppage was coming regardless, right? But I think at this point, you can't put him in there with average fighters, above average fighters, even low tier good fighters because you go get him hurt like Cruz did last night. I think, getting ready for the Rollers too. Facts. Roller got a championship. You know what I mean? Put him in there with Roller. You know what I mean? Put him in there with Roller. T said, "Who do you always give the edge to in the fight? The KRs or the pro boxer? Who always gives a boxing lesson? I always get the edge to the pro boxer who gives a boxing lesson, especially if the boxer got a chin on him. You know what I mean? Especially if the boxer got a chin on him. But boxers can be flustered by activity, right? You can fluster them with activity. Patient boxers, right? You can fluster them with activity. But I lean towards more of the boxer than the KO puncher. But it get real spicy when the KO puncher is a boxer too. Jerome Bruce Ennis, right? I would favor Jerome Bruce Ennis over damn near anybody because of the situation. You know what I mean? Because of the situation. But I digress. Right. All right. So she's speaking of right. Speaking of right. Navarrete and Valdez. Right. Let's get into that real quick. I always butcher Navarrete name. Never right. Let's get to it. Let's get to it, man. Navarrete versus Valdez. He said you see Rolly boxing in his last fight. He got good foot placement. He Rolly when Rolly getting there, Rolly getting there with Gary Antoine, he gonna have good flow to ass placement. That's what he go that's what he gonna have when he getting there with Antoine. He gonna have good flow to ass placement. Hey, so I see a lot of people saying this, right? So I'm gonna ask my son and see how y'all feel about it. Y'all feel like this fight of the year? Y'all feel like Valdez and Navarrete was fight of the year? I think they show. I say this. Them announcer show was trying to build it up as that. Like they was trying to tell me this was a who they was saying uh who they have Marquez and who they was they what they had there Marquez who they was show building it up. They was trying their best. Like they was doing it. They was trying. They was the commentary. They was trying their damnness. You know what I mean? I do think it was up there. I don't like the fact how they tried to push it down our throats though. It's like they wasn't letting us yeah, Chavez. They wasn't letting us enjoy. It's like y'all go make us like this shit, ain't it, bro? He was like he kept saying over and over and over. And I'm like, bro, you fucking up the moment. I can't even enjoy the goddamn fight. I can't even enjoy the goddamn fight because the commentary, sometimes them niggas just be talking too fucking much. You know what I mean? Sometimes they just be talking too. It's like I'm looking at it and I'm like, bro, these folks is going ham. These folks is going fed. And then the commentary telling me, oh, this is Marquez and Chavez. These are the Mexican War. Yeah, this is the greatest fight. I'm like, bro, shit. And I normally don't have the sound on. Now I know why I don't listen to the fights with the sound on. I normally be live. Right? I went live for that. I think I got off a little early, right? I was watching it. I had the sound on that time, bro. That commentary was annoying the fuck out of me, bro. I halfway couldn't, bro. It's like okay, from the first round to the goddamn 10th round, bro. You go keep telling me that this fight that I'm watching, right, is the greatest fight to ever have. You go keep telling me this, bro. Damn, can the fight finish first? Can we see how this motherfucker go in first? God damn, bro. But man, Navarrete did impress me. I said all that to say that he impressed me. I got that under the title. Navarrete impresses. You know what I mean? That motherfucker impressed me. You know what I mean? Navarrete is a little more educated with his boxing than I thought. Now, I think the range, right? The range of it played a big factor in it, right? But Navarrete is more impressive. Navarrete is more impressive with his boxing skill, right? He is more well rounded with his boxing skills than I gave him credit for. And I think him being so long, him like hit that range, his height and his reach played a big factor in that. But against Valdez, he was able to neutralize Valdez enough, you know what I mean, with his boxing skills, his activity, and his range. Valdez really didn't have an answer for him, right? Valdez really didn't have an answer for him. You know what I mean? Valdez really didn't have an answer for him. I think it was more so Joe. I don't think it was more so the skill, Joe. I think it was the range on him. You know what I mean? Uh, yeah, and y'all conveniently notice how Navarrete always come to the divisions after Shakur Stevenson leave him, right? But this comes later for another question, right? But with Navarrete, I don't necessarily think right. Exactly, Teach. I don't necessarily think it was the skill. It was more so his range and his size that got Valdez. You know what I mean? It was more so the range and the size, not necessarily the skill. He was real active and he was long. And he just fought tall. He was active and he got a little pop on his punches. He got enough pop on his punches He taller than everybody. His range longer than everybody. He bigger than everybody at that weight class, and he just made it real hard for Valdez to get on the inside. And when Valdez did get on the inside, he would just string his punches together, man. He would just put them holes together on him. He just put his shit together on him. You know what I mean? And Valdez just couldn't get around it. He used this fashion, Coach. He used his advantages, and he used the shit out of them. But he do got a little more skill than I gave him credit for, right? Because in his previous fights, he was real wild to get to the point. In this fight, he was a little more calculated because he had to be. Valdez was hitting his ass with those left hooks. Those left hooks was putting his ass on Dream Street. You know what I mean? That was waking them up. They couldn't put him on Dream Street, right? But those left hooks was hard enough to wake Navarrete up. And Navarrete was like, okay, I'm gonna have to find a different way to get on the inside with this dude instead of just walking forward on him. Navarrete was in great shape. Shout out to Navarrete for being in great shape because his conditioning with this fight of Valdez was a lot better than it was in his last fights. Navarrete came ready for this fight. He woke up for Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez came as Oscar Valdez, right? And Navarrete came as the best Navarrete. And what I found out yesterday was that the best Navarrete beats the best Oscar Valdez. You know what I mean? Navarrete was extremely impressive. Now, I think a little of that goes away when he fights somebody his size because we saw him fight Liam Wilson his last fight, a guy who more his size than Valdez, and Liam Wilson put him down a few times. So Valdez is not indestructible. He impressed me against Oscar Valdez, right? Because he's a damn good fighter. But Oscar Valdez is small. He's a small fighter. You know what I mean? Oscar Valdez is about the same size as Luis Nery, and Luis Nery fights at 122, 126. Oscar Valdez fights at 130. You know what I mean? So I digress. But he about the same size as Luis Nery. You know what I mean? So he impressed me against Oscar. But when he getting there with people his size, like the people that actually hurt him, the Baez dude that hurt him 2 fights ago was his size. The Liam Wilson dude was his size. Oscar Valdez wasn't his size. So if he fight a guy like Shakur Stevenson, who now moved up to 135, and notice when Shakur move up, Navarrete move up, right? Just like Shakur was at 126, Navarrete won't fight him. He move up to 130, right? Navarrete unify. Shakur move up, 135. Navarrete move up to 130. You know what I mean? But I digress. But when he fights somebody his size, right? And that's where he gonna run into a problem. When he fights somebody his size, it's a little different, right? My guy Teach made a good point. My guy D man, he said, let Navarrete fight O'Shaq and Foster. Bingo. Right? That's the fight to make next. O'Shaq and Foster. Yeah. O'Shaq and Foster is a champ. Navarrete is a champ. Make it happen. And also I like that fight because people get O'Shaq and Foster confused, right? They see O'Shaq and Foster height. They be like, okay, he's a shorter guy, right? But not knowing O'Shaq and Foster got arms like a tall dude, right? Just like a guy who's even bigger than Navarrete, right? Who did O'Shaq and Foster just beat? Who did O'Shaq and Foster just beat? Y'all tell me who O'Shaq and Foster just beat. Vargas. Just like Vargas found out, right? O'Shaq and Foster is maybe short in height, but he got arms like a tall dude. So that fight, that in size and stature, it looked like Navarrete has all the physical advantages. It looked like they have, but when they get in the ring, you don't got longer arms than O'Shaq Foster. Coach Joe, Ray did not have longer arms than O'Shaq. O'Shaq Foster had longer arms than Ray Vargas. O'Shaq Foster got extremely long arms. He's not that tall, but his arms are longer than you think. Kind of like Bud Crawford. You know what I mean? He do. O'Shaq Foster is O'Shaq Foster about 5'7", 5'6", about 5'6", 5'7", with 6'3" nigga arms. Just like Bud Crawford, about 5'9", with about 6'6" nigga arms. You know what I mean? They get on. It's not a big a size advantage in that fight as you think. You know what I mean? That's why some dudes be big right? But they don't really look that big when the fight starts. You know what I mean? Because the advantages you think you get, you don't really get. You know what I mean? But that's the fight to make next. But then Navarrete versus Shock. That's the fight to make next. But Shock and Foster got a mandatory, and I'm sure Navarrete maybe take that fight. Navarrete might take that fight, yo, because I think he gonna look at O'Shaquie height and think I got him. It's gonna be just like Valdez. You know what I mean? That I could see that one though, man. I think that's the best fight to make in that division right now, and I think that's a makeable fight. Man, that sun coming out now, goddamn. I think I think those might be I think those might be the two best fighters in the division, right? And I think that's a makeable fight. Hold on. I'm going to the cop poach. I'm going to the cop poach. I think Navarrete and Shock. I think that's the best fight in the division, and I think that's a makeable fight. I think that's a fight. I think that's a fight Navarrete think you know he can win, and that's how fights get made in boxing. When people think they can win, fights get made in boxing. Sorry to tell you. Well, look, I should say this. I should say this. A side dudes, A side dudes don't take fights if they don't think they can win. Fights get made because people can win. I think Navarrete think he can win that fight. I think that's the makeable fight. Copper Aborigines, what's good, Cop? Appreciate you sliding through this thing. Cop, glad you can make it, man. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy when you roll on in. Ready here for a good time or a long time. We winded down the fight action. It took place last night. This morning, I'm gonna get a little busy. Maybe if I want to come on, I'll let y'all before I get too busy. You know what I mean? Shout out my guy, Cop. He said salute Skinny and Bomb Squad, chat family. Oscar versus Navarrete was good fights. Shout out my guy, Cop. Coach Joe said now has the power to back Shaq up, make him respect him also. Shaq counter and reach, foot placement can give now here. Man, O'Shaquie Foster got that sneaky power, yo. O'Shaquie Foster got sneaky power. You know what I mean? He got that sneaky power and he's sharp with his punches. He's accurate with his shit, man. That's gonna be good. Yeah, Facts teach. Shaka Foster ain't on no network. That's the fight, man. Shock versus Knob. Shock versus Knob. Shock versus Knob. Shock versus Knob. Is it really caught? I predicted an easy win for Navarrete before the fight just because Valdez only has high guards and hook. Is it not look good against Oscar for sure? Yep, against Oscar. Yeah, I think it's a I think he looked good because Oscar kind of fit right into his category. Smaller fighter, shorter arm reach. But I think when he get in there with when he get in there, right, with people his size, right, or people who could match up with him intangibly, it get a little rougher for him. You know what I mean? But Navarrete, he got more skill than I gave him credit for. Did your damn thing. Valdez is a beast, just like I thought though. He a little beast. I always say it. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it again about Oscar. And I'm gonna get Oscar his flowers, right? Because that little motherfucker can fight, bro. If that little motherfucker was any bigger, if you Oscar Valdez size, he gonna beat your ass and he gonna beat your ass bad. If you his size, he gonna beat your ass and he gonna beat your ass bad because he be giving these big niggas the work, bro. He hit Navarrete with some shit. He just was too big. He hit Shakur with some shit. He just was too big. And you know this don't sound like a joke. It's kind of fucked up, but right. But it's just that's why dude was taking steroids because he fighting all these big ass niggas, right? He like, man, I'm hitting these niggas and these niggas ain't falling, bro. And with the steroids, they fall. Baby, Valdez probably need to move down in weight, bro. Because Oscar Valdez can fight, bro. He can fight, bro. He can fight. And I'm really saying, bro, I think he took the steroids because he fighting all the big people. You know, he probably need to move down in weight. You know what I mean? He probably need to move down because his arms way shorter than everybody's. And shit, everybody gonna be way taller than him at the top level. You know what I mean? He been a champion there before. He been a champion there before. Yeah, fact teach. That motherfucker can fight, bro. He too little. He too little. He was too little. Cop. Every time he would try to go to the body cop. Every time he would try to go to the body cop, Navarrete take a throw about 3-4 combination punches at him. Jab straight. About 3-4 jab straight at him. Every time he try to go to the body, Navarrete throw about 3-4 jab straight at him. 3-4 jab straight combination, like boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? He was mad. He controlled Valdez with his activity. He was putting it in his face. He controlled him with his activity, yo. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he threw 1,000 punches. Yep, he threw 1,000 punches, and it had a lower punch percentage. He said Valdez cried in the car sipping on some green tea. Yeah, he did cry. He cried in the back. That shoulder. Yeah, he did cry in the back, man. Valdez can fight, but Valdez probably need to move down, man. If I'm Valdez people, if I'm Valdez's people, I'm moving my fighter down, dog. I'm moving. If he can make a lower weight, if Valdez can make a lower weight, I'm moving him down, bro. Because the stature of these guys just too much for him. Not the skill, not even the power, because he can handle the power. He ain't getting knocked down. These niggas, Shakur ain't knock him down. Navarrete ain't knock him down. Burchett ain't knock him down. He ain't getting knocked. He ain't getting knocked down. It ain't that he can't handle the power. It's just the reach and the size on these people. If I'm Eddie Reynoso, if it's any kind of way he could make a lower weight, I'm moving him down, bro, so the bodies can be just a little smaller, right? So the physical matchups can get a little more even, just a little more even. Because I still don't think it's over for Valdez. With how he fight, the way he fight, with how good he is, I still don't think it's over for Valdez. Now I want to see Navarrete challenge himself at this weight class. I want to see him challenge himself at this weight class. You know what I mean? Shout out to my guy Jerome. What's good, Jerome? Appreciate you starting through, Jerome. It was good. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm gonna get a little busy later, so I want to come on. I ain't gonna be on her too much alone because I want to make my bets for the day. And when the game she actually start, I ain't gonna be around. So I want to get in and make my bets and shit. Just talking about the fights that happened last night. You know what I mean? I'm actually finna slice and now I had a fatal aggression for real. Combo was in overtime. Yeah, facts. Yeah, facts. Facts. Cop. But I ain't gonna hold y'all in this thing too long. I just want to come in there, chop it up with y'all. Did you see her latest working, AJ? Yeah, I saw the fight. Cop. I saw the fight. We gonna talk about the y'all want AJ Hernandez? We can formally do that. Yeah, I did. Cop. I think I don't think he worked AJ. You know what I mean? I liked I thought AJ might have overthunked just a little too much, right? And I said OJ, and AJ did move his head more. I feel like all OJ got to do is OJ. All AJ got to do is stop overthinking because in those spots where he overthinking, Hernandez was able to land his punches and get combinations and shit off because AJ was taking his time. He was thinking. I think maybe he was thinking about his gas tank. Oh, I got to get to this round. He was thinking about okay, what punch I'm gonna throw. He was thinking about okay, he gonna fire back. He was thinking about moving his head, right? I think AJ was doing a lot of overthinking, which led to Hellenius being able to find shots on AJ. I think if AJ could just cut out their overthinking a little bit and start like making a move instead of thinking, oh, what I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Just go and do it within the flow of the fight. You know what I mean? Let the fight find you. But I do like more patient AJ. I do like break you down, AJ. The first half, what AJ is doing is the first half of the fight, he's maintaining his gas tank. Now with Hellenius, that can work. That can work for you, right? But if you get in there with somebody like Deontay, you know what I mean. You taking all that time, just giving those knockout punches. Deontay Wilder, Wally James, right? Those guys, those good jabs, those good straights. You giving guys like that openings and time to find their openings. Now that could work. That could work against Robert Hellenius, right? But you know, that would be the only thing, like the overthinking. I think the overthinking made him a little stationary, and that's why Hellenius was able to, get off on him a little bit, because the overthinking made AJ just a little stationary. If AJ could cut out the overthinking part, I like where AJ at and where he going. You know what I mean? I like where AJ at and where AJ going. You know what I mean? I was impressed with AJ last night. Honestly. Shout out my guy BC. What's good, BC? Appreciate you sliding through this thing, BC. Glad you can make. Glad you can make it, BC. Glad you can make it. But my bad, I digress. I digress. I digress. I digress. Appreciate y'all folks trying. I ain't go hold y'all a little too long with this one this morning because I still got to make my my bets and shit. I got something to do about 11, 11:30. You know what I mean? So I ain't gonna be live for the morning games. today, but I am go wait and bake. You know what I mean? Make the play. So y'all run this jump back. I'm gonna end this journey at 135. And then I'm make my best, open up the big lines, try to recoup some of this money from real estate. My boy Trayvon Marshall blew it for me, right? And then I had Valdez points and Navarrete beat him. You know what I mean? So I got to try to get right. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure I have enough time to do that because it's 9 a.m. You know what I mean? Right now, is it that's it not? It's set in stone, cop. Hey, cop, it's happening. It's happening, cop. You can take the mic part out, cop. It's happening, cop. It's happening, cop. Yeah, you can take the mic part out, cop. That thing set in pretty much like January, like January type, like January sometime. For real, like January sometime. Yeah, but that junk happening though. That junk happening though. Yeah, cop. Yeah, cop. Yes, sir, cop. Yes, sir, cop. Why the AJ? Yep. That thing happening, Brody. That thing is happening, Brody. Yeah. But I appreciate y'all folks flying through this junk. Y'all catch me on the bed lines. I got to get these junks in. Don't want to miss that boat. Skin hot always 7T. This ain't the past. This ain't the future. Just the present. That's how you rocking. And I'm out. Love.